Again, that's a startling thing to say. And I do think there's one team that should have gone after him hard and made a huge mistake in not doing so, and that is Washington. Because Lamar would have been motivated to stick it up the Ravens' rear end. The Ravens, I think, depending on whether the contract was built to be exceedingly hard to match, I think there's a chance the Ravens would not have matched and would have let him go and taken the 2-1s. But when Lamar found out essentially that nobody out there wanted him and nobody wanted to sacrifice what it would take to get him, I think he knew that he basically had to make the best deal he could. And honestly, he made what I think is an absolutely fabulous deal. I just think he got far more than I ever thought he was going to get. And I think part of that is the Ravens felt incredible pressure to re-sign him, and also felt like they had a contending team right now. And I'm sure what Eric DaCosta would have done is, if they did let him go, would have been to take a quarterback in this year's draft and to try to get him ready to play early on. Thing that I think there's a good chance that would have happened, just my opinion, I think they would have gone out and signed a guy like Matt Ryan and would have given him the reins for 1 year while they got another, their quarterback of the future ready. But, there's one thing right now that I think we all have to acknowledge about Lamar Jackson. Okay. And again, Lamar Jackson, incredible 2019 season, a fantastic, charismatic, magic man kind of season. But the fact is that Lamar Jackson has won one playoff game in his Baltimore career. In 5 seasons, one game. In the last two seasons, he has missed 35% of the offensive plays that Baltimore has played. And when he has played, 33 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. Okay, but hardly the kind of money that you think you're going to, they paid him more than Kansas City paid Mahomes. And so there's still some questions about Lamar Jackson right now, in my opinion. And would I like to have him on my team? Absolutely. But do I think he's an absolute sure thing? I don't. I got to see it a little bit more. And I saw it for a couple of years, 19 and 20, 2 consecutive years now, injured and played okay, but hasn't been great. So we need to see it now.
I really thought that Dan Snyder was going to stick his middle finger to the NFL, just give Lamar Jackson all the guaranteed money he wants, make the Washington Commanders look all pretty, and then sell him off. That seemed like the team to me too, when that was all going on in February.
Here's what I thought was going to happen. I thought there were going to be an intermediary between Snyder and Josh Harris to say, I'm going to leave you with a franchise quarterback, but and we're going to sign him. We're going to do all this, but now with a franchise quarterback and a 27-year-old guy, whatever Lamar is, 26, I'm going to leave you with a long-term quarterback, which you don't have right now. So instead of being $6.05 billion, it's now going to be $6.3 billion. And so, and again, maybe conversations like that did happen. I don't know, but I do know that Washington is, I don't know, I still think they're in the muck and mire of NFL teams.
I think that's fascinating to not to beat a dead horse with this Lamar point, but when the whole thing went down, I felt like it kind of smelled to me like the NFL teams were colluding in some sort of way to not give him the guaranteed contract that Deshaun Watson got because they didn't want to be, I think, saddling themselves down the line when they had to pay their own. So it was seemingly to me like a, nod, nod, wink, wink. Hey, let's not go and trade for Lamar so they can keep their guy, and then we don't have to pay 100% guaranteed, fully guaranteed contract to our guy 3 years down the line when he's going to be due. Did that have anything to do with it in your mind, or was it basically just nobody was interested?
Here's my question for you. If Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes were free agents and they were demanding a totally guaranteed contract, or Jalen Hurts coming off last year, and they were demanding a totally guaranteed contract, do you think that some team, just one team, so that's all it would take, one team, would have given them a totally guaranteed contract?
Sure.
And I think the answer to that is absolutely unequivocally yes. Absolutely, somebody would have. And, I don't know what's going to happen with Burrow and Herbert. They'll get their money and they'll probably get more than anybody has signed for to this point. But I just have said it over and over again and nobody ever listens. Just please look at Lamar Jackson, the player, over the last 2 years and in the month of January. One playoff win in 5 years. The last 2 years, it's been injured significantly in both years. You want to give that player a totally guaranteed $270 million contract? That's insane. It's insane. Now, obviously, I think the Deshaun Watson contract was crazy, but I know why they did it. You know why they did it. Cleveland Browns were not getting Deshaun Watson. I think I said Deshaun Jackson, sorry. The Cleveland Browns were not getting Deshaun Watson unless they did something like that. In fact, they were told, they were the first phone call by Deshaun Watson. I'm not interested. Thanks a lot for your interest. I'm going to sign with another team. I'm going to make an agreement with another team. Okay, fine. So later that night, next morning, whenever it was, Browns call him and say, hey, what if we totally guaranteed your contract? Well, now that's a different story. So, but I don't think that if you look at a guy who's missed a third of the play time because of injury in the previous 2 years and hasn't played that great when he was healthy, I just would ask the question, would you like to be the general manager who goes to your owner and says, we got to hand him for the next 5 years a totally guaranteed contract for $52 million a year? I mean, I'll just say this, that general manager would not be with that team in 3 years.
I don't know though. Like a lot of general managers, they're going to be fired regardless. Like they are going to live in that purgatory of 7-10, 8-9, retreads, trying to draft somebody who it's a crapshoot. At least Lamar Jackson, he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's got the pelts on the wall. I thought it would have been worth it for one of these teams. One of the 32, I thought would be desperate enough to say, to hell with it. Here's the blank check. I'll go down swinging with you.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that not anybody took that bait.
I'm not shocked at all. I think it would have been lunacy for a team to totally guarantee a contract to a guy with his resume in the last 2 years.
Well, you've covered the NFL a lot longer than me, Peter. So I'm going to let you have the
I
final word
mean,
on that one.
Your opinion is worth the same as mine. All I can say is I vehemently disagree with your opinion. But there's a lot of people who have your opinion, who share your opinion. I just don't happen to be one of them.